Have you ever wondered if ancient wisdom and modern clinical science could actually be looking at the exact same problem, just through different lenses? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a chronic microbial disease that affects quite literally a massive portion of the global population, tooth decay. We're going to look at the truly fascinating intersection of traditional Ayurvedic practices and modern dental science to understand exactly how decay happens, what your body naturally does to fight it, and how you can ultimately protect your oral health.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a question dentists hear all the time, right? Can you reverse a cavity naturally? You've probably seen claims all over the internet about natural cures and miracle remedies. But to find the real answer, we have to understand what a cavity actually is. And more importantly, the specific stages a tooth goes through before that physical hole even forms. Section 1. Modern versus Ayurveda. Perspectives on decay. So in ancient Ayurvedic texts, like the Sushrita Samhita, tooth decay is referred to as krimidanta. It's classified as a disease of the teeth. Now, Ayurveda explains this as a condition brought on by an imbalance, specifically vitiated vata and kapha doshas. This imbalance creates the absolute perfect, welcoming environment for krimi, which translates directly to microorganisms or microbes, to basically infest and destroy the dental structures. It's really a systemic view that connects poor diet and oral hygiene directly to this microbial growth. And this brilliantly illustrates the connection between the two systems. When we compare the modern caries tetrahedron with the Ayurvedic systemic view, they're incredibly similar. Modern dentistry says you need 4 things for decay: a susceptible host tooth, microbes, a sugary diet, and time. Ayurveda says essentially the same thing, just in a different language. You have doshic imbalances, the buildup of food waste, known as anamala-sangraha, and the generation of microbes, or krimijana. Both systems completely agree that decay is a multifactorial process triggered by your local environment and your diet. Now, let's look at how this damage actually progresses, because it definitely doesn't happen overnight. Step 1 is demineralization. This happens when acidogenic bacteria, particularly Streptococcus mutans, feed on sugars in your mouth and excrete lactic acid. This acid dissolves the hard tissues, literally leaching minerals right out of your enamel. Step 2 is enamel breakdown, where you might actually see white spot lesions on the tooth. Step 3 penetrates the much softer dentin beneath the enamel. And finally, step 4 is severe pulp damage, reaching the nerve. Now, the absolutely vital thing to understand right now is that only the earliest stages, the demineralization stages, can actually be halted and reversed by your body. Section 2. Herbal helpers, neem, and miswak. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the hard, scientific data backing up these ancient traditions. A comparative in vitro study looked at the antibacterial activity of neem and miswak extracts against isolated bacteria from actual dental caries patients. At a 50% concentration, both plants showed remarkable maximum inhibitory zones against Streptococcus and Lactobacillus species, which are the exact bacteria responsible for that lactic acid production we just talked about. So neem and miswak aren't just folklore. They contain active antibacterial compounds, silica, and resins that actively disrupt the microbes causing krimidanta. Section 3. Oil pulling and oral pH. Ayurvedic oral care. You've likely heard of oil pulling before, but Ayurveda actually defines 2 very distinct practices. Gundusha involves holding a medicated fluid, like sesame oil, completely still in the mouth. It physically stretches the oral cavity, which is thought to draw out impurities and stimulate the immune system. Kavala, on the other hand, is the active swishing of the liquid to create pressure. This forces the active ingredients through the teeth to wash away bacteria and prevent plaque buildup. Both are considered really essential parts of a healthy daily routine. However, we have to look at the full picture of the evidence here. While some small trials do show oil pulling can moderately reduce bacterial counts and short-term bad breath, a 2024 systematic review in the International Journal of Dental Hygiene concluded that oil pulling has no meaningful effect on plaque index scores when compared to standard brushing. So it's an excellent supplementary habit for your oral health, but it absolutely does not replace your toothbrush and floss. And the holistic approach goes even further than oils. It actually involves how you breathe. This fascinating data comes from a 2016 pilot study on the immediate effects of cooling pranayama techniques, specifically Shitali and Shitkari. Participants practiced these breathing exercises for just 20 minutes. The result? Their salivary pH significantly increased from an average of 7.56 to 7.90, making the mouth much more alkaline. Why does this matter to us? Well, because cavity-causing bacteria absolutely thrive in acidic environments. By stimulating the vagus nerve and increasing salivary flow, this simple breathing technique naturally buffers the mouth against those acid attacks. Section 4. Everyday Defense. Dental Strategies. Think of your teeth kind of like a brick wall. Every single time you eat sugary or fermentable carbohydrate snacks, bacteria produce acid that basically pulls bricks, or minerals, right out of the wall. This is a demineralization acid attack. Now, your saliva is like the master mason. It flows in, neutralizing the acid and putting calcium and phosphate back into the wall. This is remineralization. But if you're snacking constantly throughout the day, it's like a continuous acid attack. You're pulling bricks out way faster than the saliva can put them back, and eventually the wall collapses. Let's move to and see how this builds into modern clinical practice. Researchers at the University of Sydney actually developed the caries management system, or CMS. It proves that early decay can be completely stopped without the traditional drill and fill method. It requires 4 steps. First, a dentist applies a high-concentration fluoride varnish to early decay sites to aggressively boost that remineralization. Second, the patient must improve their daily home brushing skills. Third, strict restriction of those between-meal sugary snacks we just talked about to stop the continuous acid attacks. And fourth, careful clinical monitoring. It's a highly effective preventative partnership between you and the dentist. Section 5. The Future of Holistic Care. Let's do a quick recap. The earliest stages of decay, when the enamel is just losing minerals, can absolutely be halted. Your saliva is the ultimate hero here, constantly working to remineralize your teeth. And you can support this process by using Ayurvedic habits like neem chewing sticks or cooling pranayama to maintain a nice, alkaline, bacteria-resistant environment. But keep in mind, these must be combined with proper mechanical brushing, targeted fluoride treatments for vulnerable spots, and regular clinical monitoring to provide a truly complete defense shield. So the crucial point we have to make is this. Remineralization is an amazing preventative healing process, but it is not a miracle cure for advanced disease. As the experts clearly state, once the decay has broken completely through the enamel layer and a physical hole, a true cavity, has actually formed, it's permanent. The tooth structure literally cannot naturally regenerate itself. At that stage, professional restorative intervention with biocompatible materials is the absolute only way to save the tooth and stop the infection from reaching the nerve. In the end, nature and science are partners. Nature gives us an incredible immune system, healing saliva, and fantastic botanical tools to fight off the initial microscopic attacks of tooth decay. But professional clinical care provides the necessary diagnostics to catch that decay early and the advanced tools to repair the structure when the damage has gone just a bit too far. Understanding how these two worlds overlap totally changes how we view our daily routines. It's not just about scrubbing your teeth, it's about managing your whole oral environment, balancing your diet, and knowing exactly when to seek clinical help. So, going forward, will you shift your focus from reactive drilling to proactive, holistic prevention? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to your long-term health and a brilliant smile.